Have you ever ended a day and asked yourself, did I truly live today? Or did I just react to everything that happened? Emails, messages, calls, deadlines. It seems like someone always needs you, and before you even realize it, the day has slipped away without leaving a mark. I've been there. Every morning I'd wake up and immediately get pulled into the cycle, replying to messages, handling urgent tasks, putting out one small fire after another all day long. I was busy but not moving forward. I was constantly in motion, but not truly living. Then one day I realized a simple but bitter truth. If you don't control your day, someone else will. Your time will be filled by other people's plans. Your dreams will be postponed bit by bit until one day you wake up and realize you've lost your most precious freedom, the right to own your day. I learned that a clear mind begins with an orderly day. A disciplined day creates a free life. And the secret doesn't lie in big decisions, but in how you design each morning, each working hour, each mindful moment. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 10 principles to help you reclaim control of your day, so you'll no longer just react to life, but start mastering it day by day, step by step, breath by breath. And you should stay until the end of the video, because principle number 7 is the key that could change the way you live starting tomorrow. Principle number 1, start your day with intention, not reaction. I often tell my students, a day that begins in chaos will end in regret. Most people don't truly start their day. They just get woken up. The phone rings, messages arrive, social media opens, and just like that, their mind is occupied the moment the sun rises. I call that reactive living. You're not steering the wheel, you're being carried by the waves. You answer other people's emails, fulfill other people's requests, and unconsciously live inside someone else's plan, not your own. A day like that doesn't need an enemy to destroy it. It steals your energy, your focus, and your sense of purpose, all on its own. I once met a friend, a young entrepreneur named David. He told me, Jim, I always feel like I'm running a race, but I don't know where the finish line is. Every morning I wake up, check my phone, jump into work, but by evening I just feel exhausted. I asked David, have you ever spent even 10 minutes in the morning just to set direction for your day? He went silent, then shook his head. I said, try something small. Before you touch your phone, touch your intention. Write down the 3 most important things you want to accomplish today, and 1 thing you want to feel today: peace, focus, gratitude, or pride. When you start your day with intention, the entire universe begins to move in that direction. A month later, David came back. He said, I didn't change my job, there was no miracle, but now every day feels meaningful. I'm no longer just living to react, I'm living to create. You see, starting your day with clear intention is like holding a compass in the middle of the ocean. It doesn't matter which way the wind blows, as long as you know where you're headed. Every wave becomes a force pushing you forward. So tomorrow morning, before you turn on your phone, turn on your intention in your mind. Just 5 minutes of silence, write, breathe, reflect. That small act can change your entire life. Ask yourself, how do you usually start your day with your own intention or with someone else's messages? And that's just the beginning, because the next principle will help you see why the morning is the golden point that determines whether you'll truly master your entire day. Principle number 2, protect your golden morning hours. I once said, the way you start your morning determines how you'll end your life. Morning is the purest time of the day. It's when your mind hasn't yet been filled by the outside world. But most people let the world in before they even step out of bed. The first thing they touch is their phone. And the first thing they read is someone else's life. At that moment, they're no longer living in their own present, but caught in someone else's reality. The mind hasn't fully awakened yet, the heart is already filled with anxiety. I remember once speaking to a group of students. I asked, if I gave you a check for $86,400 every morning and told you that you had to use it all in one day, you couldn't save any for tomorrow, what would you do? The room went silent. Then one student said, sir, I'd plan carefully to spend it as wisely as possible. I smiled. And you were already given 86400 seconds every day. Do you plan how to use them or let others spend them for you? The entire room fell into a deeper silence. Because they realized every morning is a new check of time, and how we spend those golden hours at the start of the day is how we write the destiny of the whole day. I have a simple habit. I don't touch my phone during the first 60 minutes after waking up. I call it the sacred zone. It's my time to read, write, meditate, and think, to let my mind shape my emotions and direction before the world rushes in. You don't need 3 hours. Just 30 minutes of silence is enough for your mind to reset. Use that time to ask yourself, what truly matters to me today? That one small question can change the entire journey. One of my students once said, "Teacher, I don't have time for the morning." I replied, "No one has time, we just take it back from others' hands." If you don't protect your morning, the world will steal it from you with notifications, news messages, and deadlines. So build a fence around your golden hour. No one is allowed to enter except you and your dreams. Ask yourself, how long has it been since you had a quiet morning just to live, breathe, and set direction for yourself? And remember, protecting your morning is only the first step, because the next principle will show you how to design the rhythm of your entire day to work, rest, and recharge like a true master of life. Principle number 3, design a smart work, rest rhythm. I used to tell my students, no one can run all day without stopping to breathe. But in today's world, many people are trying to do just that. They keep running burnout and then wonder why they've lost motivation. Success doesn't come from working nonstop. It comes from knowing when to move forward and when to pause. I remember a seminar in Dallas. After I finished speaking, a man came up and asked, "Jim, I work 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, but I don't feel like I'm progressing. What am I doing wrong?" I looked at him, smiled, and said, "You're not working wrong, you're resting wrong. Because you see, rest isn't laziness, it's part of the productivity cycle. Like a heartbeat contracting and relaxing. If it only contracts and never relaxes, life stops. Humans are the same. If you only contract in work but never expand in thought, you'll never be creative." I learned that each day should be designed like a piece of music with fast beats and slow rhythms, highs and silences. A powerful, focused morning followed by short breaks to recharge. A reflective afternoon to review, think, and prepare for tomorrow. If you work for 90 minutes, rest for 10. Stand up, walk, breathe deeply, drink water, stretch, so your body remembers that you are living, not just functioning. I once asked a successful entrepreneur, "What do you do when you feel exhausted?" He replied, "I don't wait to feel exhausted. I schedule rest before that happens." That's the difference between being proactive and being reactive. Successful people don't wait until their tank is empty to refuel. They refuel before it runs dry. So design your work rhythm like a dancer balancing motion and stillness, effort, and renewal. Only when you know how to pause at the right time can you go truly far. Here's a question for you today. Did you allow yourself to truly rest, or did you just pause long enough to keep burning out? And that's only halfway through the journey. Because the next principle will help you turn every dry to-do list into a true action plan, where you don't just write down what to do, but accomplish it with purpose and discipline. Principle number 4, turn your to-do list into an action schedule. I once asked my students, "How many items do you have on your to-do list today?" One replied, 12. I asked again, "And how many will you actually complete?" He smiled awkwardly. "Maybe 3. I smiled. "Then what about the rest?" They're proof that you're planning your life, not actually living your plan. Many people love to-do lists. They make you feel productive, organized, and busy. But the truth is, being busy is not the same as being effective. You can do 100 tasks and still not accomplish anything truly important. You can finish every item on your list and still fail at your life's mission. A list without specific time slots is like a map with no departure date. It's just a dream on paper. I learned this from my own experience. When I was young, I used to write down lots of goals. But as days passed, I kept saying, "I'll do it tomorrow." Then I realized, if something doesn't have a place in your calendar, it will never happen. I began turning my list into an action schedule. Not just writing down what to do, but scheduling when to do it. If 800-900 is reading, then I read. If 1000-1130 is planning, then I do nothing else. I don't let my day drift freely. I schedule my freedom. I once told a young manager, "Look at your calendar. It tells exactly who you are. If there's no time for learning, it means you don't truly value growth. If there's no break time, it means you're disregarding your own life energy." A schedule isn't a chain that binds you. It's a bridge to freedom. Because the freest person isn't the one who does everything they want, but the one who knows exactly what deserves their time. A productive day doesn't come from doing more. It comes from choosing the right things to do. Instead of writing down 12 tasks, choose the 3 most important ones and place them in your golden hours when your mind is clear and sharpest. As for the rest, if there's time, do them. If not, let them go. You weren't born to do everything, but to do the right things that lead you toward meaning. Question for you today. Does your schedule reflect what you value, or is it just a reaction to what others want from you? And don't leave yet, because the next principle will help you go deeper into the art of energy management, what Jim Rohn called the fuel for lasting productivity and inspiration. Principle number 5, manage your energy, not just your time. I once asked a group of young entrepreneurs, if you have 10 working hours a day, but bring only 30% of your energy to it, how much result will you create? They laughed, unsure how to answer. I continued, but if you work only 6 hours and each hour is filled with 100% energy, you'll win in half the time of others. We're taught how to manage time, but rarely how to manage energy. And that is why so many people fail. Because time is just a number, while energy is the life force that determines what you do with that number. You can have a whole day free, but if your mind is tired, even 1 hour becomes meaningless. You can work 14 hours, but without inspired energy, you're just living in survival mode, not creation mode. I once had a student, she was hardworking, disciplined, but constantly drained. One day she came to me and said, "Sir, I don't understand. I plan I stay consistent, but I feel like I'm running out of fuel." I asked, "Do you recharge your energy?" She looked surprised. "You mean rest?" I smiled. "No, I mean recharge. Rest restores the body, but real energy comes from joy, meaning connection and gratitude. I've observed many of the most successful people I know, and they don't just manage time with their calendars, they schedule their energy. They know that morning is for creation, afternoon is for connection, evening is for recovery. They don't try to do everything all the time, they just do the right thing in the right state. I remember after a big seminar in Los Angeles, someone asked me, "Jim, how do you stay so full of energy for decades?" I replied, "Because I don't waste energy on things that aren't worth it." Every time you get angry, jealous, or anxious, you pay with your energy. The more you react to small things, the weaker you become before the big ones. So start viewing each day as an energy account. Every morning you're given a fixed amount. Where will you spend it? On focus, creativity, and connection, or on worry, procrastination, and social media? Managing energy isn't about doing less. It's about investing it in what matters most. When you learn that your time naturally expands, one of your hours becomes worth 10 of someone else's. Ask yourself today, where are you investing your energy, and is it truly nourishing you? And stay tuned, because the next principle will show you why saying no at the right moment is one of the most powerful skills to protect your energy, time, and mind. Principle number 6, learn to say no to stay focused. There's something interesting about successful people. They don't do more than others, they decline more than others. Most of us fail not because of a lack of opportunities, but because we say yes to too many things. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're unintentionally saying no to what matters most. I once had a friend named Michael, talented, passionate, and always busy. He joined every project, accepted every invitation, helped everyone, but after a few years, Michael burned out. One day he came to me and said, "Jim, I feel like I'm losing control. Everyone needs me, but I have no energy left for myself." I asked Michael, "Have you ever wondered why?" He replied, "Because I don't want to disappoint anyone." I smiled. But don't you realize when you try to please everyone, you end up disappointing the most important person of all, yourself? You see, saying no doesn't mean you're selfish. It's an act of clarity. When you say no to what doesn't serve your goals, you're saying yes to your focus, your energy, and your freedom. Jim Rohn once compared this to a good gardener. A skilled gardener doesn't just know how to plant, they know how to prune. Because if you don't prune, the branches tangle, the sunlight can't reach through, and the good fruit never grows. Your life works the same way. If you don't cut away what's unnecessary, your days will be full of busyness, but empty of essence. I once started doing something simple that changed my life completely. Each morning, I wrote down 3 things I would do, and below them, another list. 3 things I won't do. The amazing thing was, it was the don't do list that kept me focused, calm, and more creative than ever. Remember, every yes you give is a trade, a piece of your time, energy, and attention spent. Spend it wisely. Sometimes a polite no today is the greatest gift you can give to your tomorrow. Ask yourself, how many yeses have you given out of fear of upsetting others? And what has that cost you in what truly matters? And don't leave yet, because the next principle will help you discover the power of minimalist focus, where you don't have to do more. You just have to do the right 3 things each day to create extraordinary results. Principle number 7, choose your 3 most important priorities of the day. When I was younger, I used to believe that successful people are the ones who get the most done. But I was wrong. The more I did, the more overwhelmed I became. The more I tried to do everything, the less focused I was. There are 24 hours in a day, but I spread them across too many small things, and none of them truly move forward. Until one day, a great mentor told me, Jim, each day only has 3 things worthy of your full energy. The rest is just noise. From that day on, I began following the rule of 3 priorities. Every morning, I'd write down a long list of tasks, then select exactly the 3 most important ones. Not the 3 easiest, but the 3 that would make the biggest impact on my goals. One time I was writing a book while also getting many speaking invitations. My to-do list was 2 pages long, but I knew that if I didn't finish the manuscript, the book would never exist. So I crossed almost everything off. I kept only 3 things: write, read, reflect. Just 3, but I did them with full focus. And 6 months later, that book was published, opening an entirely new chapter of my life. You see, life always presents you with hundreds of options. And if you don't clearly define what's most important, you'll be dragged by what's most urgent. Average people get swept up in notifications, news requests, and emails. Successful people, they filter focus and say no to the rest. Jim Rohn once compared this to a laser beam. Normal light spreads out and illuminates a room, but a laser, when focused, can cut through steel. Power doesn't come from quantity, but from concentration. So each morning, before you begin your day, ask yourself, what 3 things, if I complete them today, will move me closer to the life I want? Then write them down clearly. And if you fully commit to those 3, you've already won the day. Remember, winners don't do everything. They do what matters most, and they do it completely. Ask yourself today, what are your 3 most important priorities, and are you truly giving them your time? And don't miss the next principle, because it will teach you how to end your day like a winner, not in exhaustion, but with gratitude and mental clarity. Principle number 8, create an ENDOFDY ritual. Review and reflect. Most people start their day with a plan, but end it in exhaustion and forgetfulness. They shut down their computer, turn off the lights, collapse into bed without even knowing whether they truly lived the day or merely got through it. I used to be that way. I worked late into the night, believing effort was everything. But one day I realized success doesn't only come from how you start your day, but also from how you end it. One night, after finishing a long seminar, I returned to my hotel and opened my small notebook. I wrote, "Today I spoke to 2000 people, but what touched me most was the smile of a student sitting in the back row." At that moment, I realized something. If we don't pause to acknowledge, we lose the deepest meaning of the journey gratitude. Since then, I've built an evening ritual for myself. Every night before bed, I spend 10-15 minutes to review, reflect, and give thanks. I ask myself 3 questions. 1 did, what did I do well today? 2A, what lesson did I learn? 3 question, who or what am I grateful for? Not to be perfect, but to reconnect with myself. I once shared this in a training session. A young woman said, "I think writing a nightly journal is a waste of time." I asked, "Do you ever look back at yourself?" She shook her head. I said, "Then how are you living? If you never stop to see how far you've come?" She was silent. A month later, she came back and said, "Sir, that habit changed me. I no longer feel like I'm chasing life. I feel like I'm actually living it." You see, ending the day isn't just about turning off the lights and going to sleep. It's a ritual of growth. Just as a craftsman puts down his tools after completing his work, a mindful person must also pause, look back, and smile at what they've done. Remember, if the morning is when you set direction for your mind, then the evening is when you restore peace to your soul. Before you go to bed tonight, write down 3 things you're grateful for and 1 thing you'll do differently tomorrow. Repeat this every night, and you'll be amazed how after just a month, your life feels lighter, clearer, and more purpose-driven than ever. Ask yourself tonight, how will you end your day, in haste or in gratitude? And don't leave yet, because the next principle will tackle one of the biggest challenges of our age, how to live intentionally in a world overflowing with technology while keeping your inner focus and clarity. Principle number 9, use technology intentionally, don't let it control you. We live in an unprecedented era where with a single tap, the whole world opens before us. That's a gift, but also a trap. Because while technology helps us access information faster, it also makes us lose focus faster. It connects us to millions, but leaves many of us disconnected from ourselves. I often tell my students, technology isn't bad, it just needs to be trained to serve. If you don't teach it to serve you, it will train you to serve it. Think about today. How many times did you open your phone just to check something, and 30 minutes slipped away like sand through your fingers? How many times did you scroll through social media only to feel tired, distracted, or anxious? Afterward, I remember one student, Anna, a young energetic content creator, but she told me, "Sir, I feel like I'm losing my creativity because every time I go online, my brain gets flooded with noise." I asked, "Do you set boundaries for your technology?" She shook her head. I said, "Try turning off all notifications for 7 days, check your email and social media only twice a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. The rest of the time, let your mind stay empty." A week later, she returned and said, "Sir, my mind feels like someone opened a window. I work less but create twice as much." You see, technology is powerful only when guided by intention. Turn it from a master into a servant. Set limits, establish rules. For example, don't use your phone during the first 60 minutes of your morning. Don't check emails after 8 p.m. Dedicate 1 day a week to a digital detox a day without tech. Not because technology is bad, but because your mind needs silence to regenerate. Jim Rohn once said, "Silence is where great ideas are born." If you're always turning on the TV, the music, the phone, you're turning off the voice within you. Use technology like a knife sharp, useful but always with awareness, because if you're careless, it can make you bleed. Reflect on this. When was the last time you turned off your phone completely just to listen to yourself? And stay until the end, because the final principle will take you to the deepest truth about mastering your days when you realize that each day isn't just another page on the calendar, but a blueprint for your future. Principle number 10, live today as if you're designing your future. One of the greatest tragedies of human life is that we underestimate the power of a single day. We think the future is something that happens next year or 10 years from now, so we allow today to slip away unnoticed as if one day doesn't really matter. But you know what? Every day you live is a brick in the castle of your future. And if you lay those bricks carelessly, don't be surprised when your future turns out crooked and fragile. I once asked a student, "If I looked at your schedule for today, would I see the version of the future you want?" He was silent for a long time, then said, "No, sir, my schedule is just about surviving." I smiled and said, "Then don't blame your future for looking just like your present. You're planting the exact seeds you're going to harvest." You see, the future doesn't appear overnight. It's built from thousands of todays lived with intention. If you spend today learning, growing, and loving, you're designing a bright future. If you spend today complaining, delaying, comparing, you're painting a tired, repetitive one. Every small choice, reading a page, calling someone who matters, or walking for 15 minutes, is a brushstroke in the painting of your life. There are no meaningless actions, only mindless ones. I remember a student once asked me, "Sir, how do I know if I'm on the right path?" I said, "It's simple. Look at your day. If today reflects the person you want to become, you're on the right path. If not, adjust right now. The future doesn't wait for you to change. It only opens up for those who begin to change in the present." Jim Rohn once compared life to a garden. If you don't plant intentionally, the weeds will take over and choke out what's valuable. The future works the same way. It will grow on its own, but not in the direction you want, unless you shape it one day at a time. So every morning when you wake up, ask yourself today, which version of my future am I designing? If you live with intention, each day becomes a golden brick on the path of your life. If you live unconsciously, each day becomes nothing more than dust in time. Ask yourself, if your future were built entirely from the way you live today, would you be living in alignment with your dreams? And that's the final message, because every principle in this video, from morning discipline, focus, and saying no to gratitude and mindful reflection, all lead to one simple truth: master your day and you'll master your life. So you and I have now walked through 10 principles for mastering your day, step by step, reclaiming control of your life. You've learned how to start the day with intention, protect your golden morning hours, design a smart work rhythm, and pause to recharge. You've understood the power of saying no at the right time, choosing your top 3 priorities, and ending each day with gratitude. You've learned to use technology as a tool, not a distraction, and finally realized that every single day you live is the blueprint of your future. I don't expect you to remember all 10 principles. I only hope that right after this video, you'll choose one to practice starting tomorrow. Because change doesn't begin with big steps. It begins with one small decision repeated every day. As I've always said, discipline is the bridge between dreams and achievement. And you've just started building that bridge brick by brick through the way you master your 24 hours. No one else can live for you, act for you, or control your path for you. Only you, the one and only person responsible for the direction of your life. Take action today. Comment below, "I master my day." Starting tomorrow morning, wake up 30 minutes earlier. Write down your 3 priorities and keep your mind calm. Then come back here after 1 week and share what's changed. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share to help spread this philosophy to more people. Every share you make plants a seed of discipline, freedom, and awareness in the world. A question for you: how will you live tomorrow so that 5 years from now you can proudly say, I truly lived every single day? Success is not a destination, but the journey of living consciously every day. Jim Rohn, thank you for walking this path with me. And remember, when you master your day, you master your life. See you in the next video.